In this video, I was made to watch
Chud 2, Bud the Chud.
Coming up. Hey everybody, Chase here.
Katherine here.
And we are doing a brand new video series here on YouTube. It's called I Was Made to Watch, and it's really about making the other person watch YouTube videos, movies, and TV shows that the other person wouldn't normally watch. And so Katherine here decided for our first video ever that she would make me watch Chud 2, Bud the Chud. Now, this movie is a thriller comedy that was released in 1989. It was supposed to be in theaters, but it didn't. It was released on VHS and Laserdisc back in the day. I want Katherine to tell us why this first movie, this is the one that you wanted to share with the world that you wanted me to watch. It was like one of your favorites from when you were a kid, right? Or
I wouldn't say it was one of my favorites.
Top movie ever? No?
It was a movie that I watched maybe around 3 o'clock in the morning when I was a teenager, maybe 13.
Okay.
And basically, I was in a good place in my life. You know, in the summertime, I was hanging around my friends during the day and just staying up as long as I wanted.
Right.
And it was just a nice time.
Yeah, yeah. And it's one of those movies that I have to learn not to take super seriously and put it in perspective for the time and the genre and all that. Just to give you guys some brief details about the movie, like I said, it came out in '89. It starred Robert Vaughn. This guy was in the movie. He played a colonel. It also casted in Brian Robbins. He played the character known as Steve. Tricia Lee Fisher, she is known as Katie, and we're going to be talking about her in the movie, as well as Gerrit Graham. He plays Bud the Chud. So let's talk about this movie, because this movie throws all logic out the window, right? I mean, it's crazy funny, but you have to keep it in perspective, right?
Yeah, it's just a really goofy movie. It's a late 80s movie, so it has dancing and just ridiculous scenes in it that are common in late 80s movies.
So what you need to know before you go online and try to watch this movie is, first thing is that this movie doesn't have any connection to the first movie called Chud in any way except for name only, and maybe just a loose kind of tie back to the original movie, right? So this has really nothing. There's no continuation of a story or anything like that, right?
No.
No. And actually, when you were researching this movie, you thought this was Chud.
Yeah. I was confused, and I actually watched Chud before watching Chud 2, because I thought it was Chud 2. But when I watched Chud, the first movie, I was just like, this has nothing to do with anything. And so I started watching Chud 2.
And then you're like, all those childhood memories start rushing back.
Yes.
You're like, this is the one.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take you through this crazy movie and just highlight some of the most interesting moments that really stuck out in our brains. Obviously, you guys are going to have your moments, so please feel free to leave them in the comments below. But after the long, boring, to you, 2.5 minute cut, which to me, by the way, I thought it was brilliant. I thought the production, hey, those things are hard to do,
yeah.
And I appreciated that. But we find out at the beginning of the movie that the Chud project was canceled. It was just dead, and that's why they were trying to kill off the Chud. Well, what happens? The Chud escapes his restraints from the basement. What do we see?
A hunt.
A hunt, led by our Colonel Masters, and he starts looking around the hospital for this.
We're hunting wabbits.
I mean, come on, man. Are you really going to have your colonel in the United States Army leading a charge?
Why are they all of them have guns, and they're all like in front of each other? It's a friendly fire situation.
Yeah. And then here, check this out. This doesn't make sense. Obviously,
he doesn't have a gun either. Do you notice that? He's the one that's opening up windows.
And then he gets bitch slapped by the Chud. And then they have these special guns, if you will, that will freeze him in place.
I love the guy that's saying, "Get him" the whole time.
Get him, that's enough. You got him.
So they got him. They were able to freeze him up and put him in place. But you're right. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Why is everyone going, get him, yeah, get him?
Why is there a cat in a hospital?
That's another good question. Cat in the closet in a hospital.
Yep.
And they obviously added in post more cat screams. So after that crazy scene, we're now back at high school, and the cliches are here, you know, mullets and nerds and geeks and all that stuff. And the camera pans through one of the students' binders or books, and we see some interesting drawings. And you were captured by this. You saw this and immediately thought of something that happened. Well, first off, what were you thinking about when you first saw this?
Well, first, this is the very first swimsuit in the entire movie.
Oh, wait, the multiple swimsuits? What do you mean?
Yes, this is the very first Borat in the movie.
Yeah, there are a lot of Borats. You'll see a lot of Borats. And we're not talking about the character Borat. We're talking about what Borat wears.
Swimsuit.
The swimsuit. Not a lot of chest here on this particular Borat. But still, why did this stick out to you? Like, why? Other than the Borat?
Well, it looks feminine yet masculine. It just looks young and old. It reminded me of that Twitter quote of, I've never seen someone look so young yet so old, so feminine yet so masculine, so pretty yet so ugly. I am truly disturbed.
Yeah, and everything about this book is a little weird and disturbing. I mean, you have the Borat. You also have an eye with a tear with a H2O pointing to the tear. Yeah, we know it's water. Toads. I don't know what that is. A plug. I mean, literally an outlet.
I bet the Toads, is that maybe their mascot or something? School mascot?
The Toads?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I have no idea. E equals MC square here, and then we got some other interesting drawings that are kind of behind as well.
Or is the Toad supposed to be the foreshadowing for the Toad later on?
Ooh. That's a good catch. I'm not sure. But yeah, interesting. The first of many Borats that we would see to come. Now, one quick scene that I thought was just really stupid that I want to talk about is the dead guy.
I have a treat in store for you. We actually get to look at a cadaver from Leigh's funeral home. A dead body is nothing to be afraid of.
The proctor, the lecturer of the class, got a dead guy to show off. And because of some things that have happened, he didn't have time to do it. And so these two students were in the science storage room where this guy was just sitting there, which I don't know much about dead guys, but I don't think they're kept at room temperature typically, right?
Yeah.
They're usually kept in a freezer or a refrigerator or whatever, but it doesn't matter. They're in an open storeroom where all of a sudden one of the students accidentally kicks the dead guy, which, by the way, I wouldn't even touch a dead guy like this, but all of a sudden he gets launched, literally launched into the street. And then for the next, 30 or 45 seconds, we see probably the weirdest sequence in all of motion pictures. We see the two guys running over people.
You really think this is the weirdest sequence in all of motion
Or maybe
pictures?
not all, but still, I mean, it's so predictable. You see pedestrians about ready to cross when they see this. It's just like, what's with the cars? The guy was already passed. Right here. What's that? What the hell?
He had to do a double take, apparently. He was startled.
Yeah, so the car went by, gives you an excuse to, sketch out or whatever, but I digress. I just thought it was stupid. This scene was just stupid. This whole sequence. Oh, we're chasing after the guy. And by the way, keep that dead guy in mind, because he'll come back. He'll come back later in the movie, because apparently this guy never gets caught.
When that dead guy comes back, I had actually forgotten that he had rolled off.
Yeah, because you thought, they took care of it. You thought in a normal world, this normal world, that all of a sudden that this dead guy would be picked up. See, it's impactful, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, see, it's like a splinter in your brain. It doesn't make sense.
So the students decide that the best course of action, instead of telling the teacher, is to replace the body. So they head to the research hospital to find one. They pick one at random, and it ends up being Bud the Chud. They bring Bud back home, and through some interesting shenanigans, accidentally bring Bud back to life. They store him in the basement at home, which is a bad idea because he ends up escaping from home.
So after Bud escapes from the student's basement, he starts hitting the town. He starts walking around looking for his first victim. And he comes across this lady working out in front of her big, I guess, living room window.
Yeah.
As she's working out. And, at first she thinks it's her daughter or somebody, outside her window. But she goes back to her TV, starts working out, and then Bud pops up, starts working out with her through the window. How can anybody be so oblivious? I mean, if you were working out in the living room with leopard print pants, would you not notice?
Notice what?
Oh, some dead guy staring at you through the front window that was wide open?
Everybody
in your
in this
peripheral
movie,
vision?
Everybody in this movie is really oblivious and into themselves.
No peripheral vision. So obviously after the workout, she goes and feeds her cat outside, and then Bud just shows up. Is this a normal reaction?
No, why would you touch someone's foot?
Oh my. What big thumbs you have.
Isn't this another Elmer Fudd thing? What big eyes you have? What big...
It is.
What is this?
Do you have a job?
And then she starts interviewing the guy.
Bud.
Oh, now she screams? I mean, this doesn't make any sense. And then he picks her up. And we don't actually see a lot. Let's talk about this for a minute. For a horror flick, we don't really see a lot of gore and a lot of blood and a lot of, oh my God.
It's child friendly.
Is it? Screaming, fangs? Is it child friendly? Well, I don't know. But yes, so Bud commits his first, do you call it murder? Does he kill her here?
Yeah.
He just basically bites her. He just bites her, leaves, and then she gets, of course, infected with this mutating Chud virus, if you will, and she becomes a Chud. After Bud takes a snack out of the gal working out, we're introduced to some music. Some music of the scene that really sets the tempo, I think, for the rest of the movie. So we see this drunk guy. He starts walking out of the bar, and he's stumbling. This is a business guy, and we hear this music. Why do you like this music so much?
It's his theme.
Why does he need a theme?
It's just such an earworm. This theme song is what reminds me of the movie.
No, this theme song is marketing. This is what I hear. So Bud just shows up. He cracks his knuckles, and then he goes and sees this guy going to the bathroom. Takes a bite, swallows something,
and then he gets the jacket
immediately. So I think he saw this guy with a jacket. Oh, wait, hold on. This is classic 80s right here. This is your highlight right here, right? Bud the Chud. I mean, seriously.
This is one of the highlights of the movie, yeah.
And you say it gets stuck in your ear. I mean, come on, man.
Stuck in my head
really?
So much.
Why?
It just does.
Oh, it reeks cheese. It
is
feels
pretty
so
cheesy. Yeah,
cheesy.
it's pretty
And
cheesy.
when I heard it, when I first saw that scene, and I was just like, come on, man. This defies logic. I'm so hard trying to pull logic out of this, and it's just like, that doesn't make sense.
It's a movie. You just got to suspend your logic.
For 85 minutes, apparently. I have to suspend my logic.
With an open mind.
Oh yeah, I feel the marketing. I think we have a big disagreement about that scene. I just, you're like, oh, and you were saying what? He becomes cool because he's got the jacket now.
He kind of does, yeah, because he's got the jacket. And it also kind of makes it so that he doesn't look like a soldier anymore.
Well, I think so. This is where I think we have differentiating opinions, and that is why is it that is he smart? Is he cognitive? Is he alive? Because he's basically alive. He's like, oh, I need a jacket. I'm cold. I need to look hip and suave and debonair. I mean, like, what?
I don't think he stole it because he was cold.
No,
I just think he liked the jacket.
How did he even know the guy was there? Did he see him go behind the dumpster?
He must have.
He must have.
Yeah.
And then he's walking normally. I don't know many zombies that walk normally. Like, oh, hey, I'm gonna go eat somebody right now. No, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. But yes, you get your soundtrack. You get your title song at 35 minutes into the movie, or 30 minutes into the movie. We get to hear the theme song, Bud the Chud, and then it gets stuck in your ear. Have you grabbed it on Spotify yet?
No.
Yeah.
I should.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, or I'll just copy it for you so you can have it. Bud the Chud song. Ugh. So we forgot to mention that a dog also got infected with the Chud virus, and we are back to the family's home, where we see a classic situation develop where a mailman shows up to deliver the mail, and the family dog, who's what is infected with the Chud virus, a little situation develops. You want to talk about this scene, because obviously it could be a little traumatic for a young little girl.
Well, this is my favorite scene just because this dog just gets everybody back. Just everybody.
I mean, obviously the mailman doesn't like dogs, starts crap talking the dog, hears the dog growling in the bushes, when all of a sudden the dog looks rabid. It looks like, by the way, props to whoever did the makeup on the dog. Well done. And then the mailman's like, nice doggy, don't hurt me. And then he starts walking closer.
That's what I didn't understand either. I mean, why would you walk closer to a dog that's growling at you?
And then someone throws a stuffed animal dog. Great acting, by the way. Should be an Oscar-winning performance here.
Look at how oblivious the parents are.
Look to your right. You'll spot the wire dragging the stunt double away. I mean, come on, man. Why is that your favorite scene? I mean, seriously.
Just because the poodle starts getting everybody back.
For what?
For all the wrongs that it's had over its
Really?
lifetime.
Do you think the mailman treated the poodle badly?
I think so.
And then what happens, of course, the dog eats part of the mailman. The mailman also becomes a Chud. And then now you see something developing here. You see the whole town slowly become infected, except for the parents. Apparently, they're safe the whole time, the whole movie. Like, the dog never bites the parents.
They're oblivious, so maybe that's why.
They're protected.
They're protected by their ignorance.
Protected by ignorance, yes. Now, this scene to me, I thought about it, I've digested it, and I want to know what you think about it. So this scene, we are introduced to a businessman with a barber. Now at this point, the barber has already been infected and is Chud. Chudded? Is that what do you think? Infected?
Yeah.
All right, fine,
Sure.
we'll call it that. What doesn't make sense to me, and it just came to me, why is the barber, we see the barber taking a razor blade and he's sharpening up the blade. He's getting it really sharp, getting ready to not shave the guy. But he goes and kills him. He slices his throat. So after, of course, he adjusted his toupee, which, by the way, you thought...
Why does the barber have the worst hair in town?
That doesn't make sense, does it?
Who goes to a barber with a terrible haircut?
And then he slices him.
And
and then he takes a bite.
On tidal wave, and
Yeah.
a little splash is all it takes and all that.
You want to hear my theory about this?
What?
I think... So remember, at this point, we now realize that these zombies are smart.
Yeah.
They're smart zombies. They have brains.
Oh, is that why you think they included the scene, just to show that they're smart?
No. Well, we already know that they're smart because we've already seen Chud.
Well,
or Bud,
I believe that they also said earlier in the movie that they evolve every time.
Mutation.
Yeah,
yes.
mutation.
They talk about mutation. But we were seeing this in the entire time, though, from the beginning, how Bud is smart.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you become infected, you still keep all your cognitive abilities, right? So here we got the barber. He's sharpening up his blade. Now, what's going on this entire time? The other guy, he's just yapping.
Yeah, he's oblivious like everybody else.
Well, not just oblivious, but he's just talking a lot.
Yeah.
I think that the barber didn't like this guy to begin with. And he was tired how much this guy kept talking and talking and talking. And he didn't want to just freaking just bite him, because that's too easy. He wanted to freaking kill him first. He wanted to straight up commit murder. He wanted to commit murder. He commits murder, then eats him. That's what I think. Because he wouldn't shut up. Like me. I think you want to chud me. I think but I think though, that's what happened here. This was murder because the zombie knew what he was doing. He was sharpening up. Premeditated murder. This guy. That's what I think.
I don't.
Why not?
I just don't, because that's the way that people talk to their barbers.
Really? And the barber's like, just shut up, man. Just shut up. I'm going to shut you up. He was planning on doing it the entire time. This was premeditated murder. And then he infected him. So at this point, Bud has amassed a huge zombie army of chuds. He's infected lots of people. Other people have infected other people. And they're like trick-or-treating. They're going through the neighborhood where they so happen to come across this little kid. And this kid was trick-or-treating as well. Sees all these chuds. Bud picks them up.
Hey, you guys, look, there's the poster.
Halloween dance.
Hey, you guys want to go?
Hope the band doesn't suck.
So Bud here makes a conscious decision not to eat the kid. And then...
Bitchin' costumes!
So, I mean, okay.
It's too small to eat, but old enough to cuss.
Is bitchin' though a bad word?
I couldn't say that when I was young.
Well, to be fair, so here's the interesting fun fact to tie pinball into this. By the way, you guys know I like pinball, right? I have a game called Earthshaker. And at the end of the game, you have a match sequence. And if you match, there's a sound clip that goes off of a girl in the game goes, ooh, bitchin'. So I think that is a sign of the times because they were saying it back in the day. And by the way, this is in California. We're totally bitching, dude.
I lived in California. I wasn't able to say that word.
You weren't, well, that's because you had probably strict parents, right?
No, not really. They just didn't want me to cuss, and that's a cuss word.
Let us know. Let us know below. Is bitchin' a cuss word? I don't think so. I think it's like totally rad, dude. It's bitchin'. It's awesome. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also kind of wonder if this was just a way for them to show the Halloween party.
Well, I don't know if you heard the other people that were trick-or-treating, I guess, and they saw this poster, which, by the way, who tacks a poster to a tree? That's how you kill trees. But anyway, you have this poster, you're like, oh, hey, do you want to go? And then, I don't know if you heard, but a guy goes, man, I hope the band doesn't suck. That's what I would be like, oh man, because back in the day, everybody played bands at dances, so it's like you don't want to go.
We didn't have bands at our dances.
Well, you went to a small town.
Yeah.
You were a small town.
I don't think there were very many musicians.
Who would want to go to that small town? Very small town. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, seriously, obviously now the zombie has morals. But anyway, they head off to the dance.
Just as with all late 80s movies, there are many dance montages in this.
Yes, and of course they come at the end, of course. You got to wrap it up with a big dance.
For some reason, dances were a big deal in the 80s, apparently.
Well, in every 80s movie, we had a dance. Karate Kid had a dance, Back to the Future had a dance, and Chud 2 had a dance. And how many students at your high school did synchronized dances?
Zero.
Zero. No. And this has got to be a Hollywood thing, right?
I suppose so. I've never seen anyone do synchronized dances in person before.
No. So not only we saw the students do synchronized dancing, then we saw the zombies get into the synchronized dancing too.
Yes.
Once again, zombies doing synchronized dancing. It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense.
I'm sure Thriller was already out by then, so maybe that's where they got the concept.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be Thriller. I mean, this is a thriller comedy. Thriller, Michael Jackson, popular video. Yeah, all right. I'll give you that one. So with all the zombies at the school, the students are coming up with a genius plan. They're going to try to get all the zombies to come into the pool because that's where the nerd has figured out, hey, if we can get all the zombies into the pool, we might be able to kill them and eliminate them all. And so they get into the pool. They get in the, well, not actually in the pool, but they get into the pool room. And then Katie comes up with an incredible idea.
My locker's right over here.
No, you can't do that.
Basically, because she found the photo that the Chud had been carrying of her, she decided to put the Borat bathing suit back on.
Which,
If you were a Chud, who would you prefer for a meal?
yeah, side note here,
Please be careful.
the nerd expresses his love, sort of, because I care so much.
Can I watch?
Now, let's talk about this scene real quick, because,
Let's go to work.
so she has a Borat bathing suit at school, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I don't understand. Why would you have that kind of bathing suit at high school?
Oh, well, you guys are going to be able to see what this bathing suit is because they do feature this here in a moment. But, I mean, does that make sense? I'm like, why would you wear something like that in high school?
I
wouldn't.
would. Yeah,
You would?
oh, yeah, I would have worn that in high school, just not
But this is the 80s.
in high school.
So maybe this was a thing. If you went to high school in the late 80s, let us know. Was this normal? I mean, did you run into women or men wearing Borat swimsuits? I would love to know. It doesn't make sense to me, but Katie comes up with the plan, and we'll see if it's successful.
Now here comes Katie in her Borat swimsuit.
Hey! Zombies! Well, who wants a bite? Come and get it.
What I don't understand is why did they all come after her when there's still people to be eaten at the dance?
That's correct. That's the welcome to the logic world that I've been stuck in. Okay, so there's a few problems that I have with this. One, yeah, that does make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, she's supposed to be a high school girl, right?
Yeah.
So she's probably what, 17,
Yeah,
18 years old?
yeah.
Okay. Why is it then that all of these adults are saying Katie, and then they all say yum yum in unison like they've planned it, and then they're like, oh my God, we're gonna go after you because you're so beautiful and you look so great.
She looks delicious, I guess.
What the hell? What about all the other people? Like you said, it doesn't make sense. Logic's out the window. And then we get another, I guess, a view of the Borat costume, which, to be fair, you know, Katie does look good.
Yeah.
She does look good. Yeah, we will concur on that statement. So the students were successful. They were able to use Katie as fresh bait, get all the zombies that come into the pool. They got them all in the pool. However, Bud was able to break off from the pack and corner Katie on top of a diving platform. And this is when we are brought together with one of the most touching moments of this movie.
Basically, at first, she thinks that he is about to kill her. So
You think
she's
so?
Freaking out.
I think
Yeah.
so too. Yeah, like he's gonna pull a gun. And then,
He shows her his heart.
yeah. And she's like kind of disgusted by it, but at the same time like, oh, how touching. So, I want to talk real quick before the next part. And that is, this guy sees a picture of her. Right?
Yeah.
And he becomes in love with her. Like, I'm giving you my heart. I love you. He doesn't even know her. How weird is that?
He's an undead governmental experiment, so...
That is madly in love with some rando 17 or 18-year-old high school student.
Yeah. He's probably like, what, 30s? Yeah.
There's something wrong with that.
Yeah.
Let's acknowledge that right now, shall we? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, but anyway, let's move on to the most romantic part, right? So what happens after that?
Well, basically, his heart gets broken.
That's right. And who broke his heart?
She did. She bumped into him after his heart was frozen, and
Yeah.
they had a good zoom up of the heart breaking and shattering on the ice.
Yeah. Yeah, talk about framing the shot, right? Breaking his heart,
Yeah.
literally. He's already dead at this point, right? So it doesn't really matter. After this, we go on to see the mullet head kid run away.
Yes.
We see the nerd, take off his glasses. I mean, now he's hot, right? Because he saved Katie's life.
Yes. We also get to see the mullet guy get kind of chomped on the foot.
Yeah, so that was a weird thing too, that he gets chomped but doesn't get chudderized quickly.
I think it's because they really zoomed in on the fact that it was through his shoe. So I honestly think that maybe because he didn't get a full bite, maybe he got like a little
That's
puncture.
not how it works. I mean, he becomes a full chud later at the end.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think the movie just made it convenient. This is what I think. I think he knew that he was becoming chudderized.
Yeah, he did. That's why he left the note.
But he did. Yeah, I thought he left the note at the end because he felt bad about what happened, that it's all on him, that he blamed. Like, he thought it was his fault, and that's why he left.
Well, I guess I interpreted it differently. I thought that
cool.
he wrote the note because he knew that he had been bitten and that he was about to turn into a chud.
Yeah.
So he took off.
And we thought that was the end of it, but it wasn't. There's a little bit more. Just like you can't cram this much fun into this because there's just a little bit more. And that is because at the end of the movie, we see Mullet Head turn into a chud who's hitchhiking to get out of there. And who picks him up?
Bianca Jagger.
What? She gets top billing. She's like named as a marquee player, and we finally see Bianca driving a truck.
At the very, very end of the movie.
Very, very end. And she's also chudderized.
Yeah.
Already. She was chudderized already, smart enough to drive, but able to pick up him. And then we also run in the back seat, or I'm sorry, in the back of the pickup truck, we see, once again, the Colonel hiding as he's been chudderized as well, because his guard, remember from earlier in the movie, the dog eating the driver of the military vehicle. Well, eventually the Colonel got infected, and then they drive off.
Yeah, with the dog.
With the dog.
Happily ever after.
Happily ever after. So there you have it. That is Chud 2, Bud the Chud, a classic from 1989, and a movie that I honestly wouldn't watch if it wasn't for Katherine here. Thanks, hun. Thanks a lot. If you want to check out Chud 2, Bud the Chud, you can pick it up and watch it for free on Plex Video as well as Tubi. And if you want to purchase it, you can buy it on Amazon Prime Streaming, and you can find the DVD or Blu-ray copies available in many different places, and we'll put links in the description below. But I got to ask you, after doing this and watching this, does it hold up for you?
It doesn't quite hold up for me. I mean, this is basically a teenager movie. As an adult, I watch it and it's just goofy. I don't think I would watch it again. But if I was a teenager, I would watch it again.
So you won't watch it? You wouldn't watch it again?
Nah.
No.
It's just one of those movies where it's like, you know, good for a one-shot deal.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not going to go back and watch this, even though you like that song, the strut song for Mr. Bud the Chud. By the way, if there's any videos, TV shows, or movies that you want to make either one of us watch, give us a suggestion in the comments below. If you like what you're seeing here, hit that subscribe button and give us a like. It tells YouTube that you like what we're doing and you want to see more of it. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching our video. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye.
Goodbye.